Podcasts on UNC-TV.org are made possible through the financial contributions of viewers like you, who invite you to join them in supporting UNC-TV.
It's Monday, April 26th. Tonight, the grand reopening of the North Carolina Museum of Art. Next on North Carolina Now.
North Carolina Now is made possible through the financial contributions of viewers like you, who invite you to join them in supporting UNC-TV.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Shannon Vickery. Thanks for joining us. Tonight on North Carolina Now, we'll look into the school assignment debate in Wake County that could change our state's largest school system. Then we'll meet two enterprising men, a student who produced a documentary on living with learning disabilities, and an entrepreneur who left one career to start his own business selling chocolate. But we begin tonight with an unveiling. This past weekend, the North Carolina Museum of Art in Raleigh unveiled the final stage of a 3-year expansion with the opening of their new exhibition building set among the museum's 164-acre park. The blending of art, architecture, and nature into an exciting arts experience is one reason the museum has been called one of the most important museums in the American South. Producer Peter Bell has more.
Welcome to your new North Carolina Museum of Art. Well, the excitement it comes when you enter the door.
I turned around and there's the line of people, the line of North Carolinians coming in, streaming into the building, finally after all these years, and that's just really a special moment for all of us.
This is a big day for North Carolina. I hope everybody in the state realizes this. Back in the late 40s, in 1947 exactly, we were the second poorest state in America. You had leaders in North Carolina who said something has to change for our people. They created, they dreamed, they birthed the first public art museum in America right here in North Carolina. We are no longer rural. We are no longer poor. We are a sophisticated state made up of almost 10 million people who appreciate both sides of our brain and who have leaders like Larry Wheeler who can show us the way to move forward. And he has changed the dialogue globally about what a museum should look like.
We set out to build a beautiful home for art and people. And today the people are engaging with this building for the first time, and it was just exhilarating.
This is an international event today as we open this museum. We have incredible cultural and heritage and arts resources all across the state. We are not just this wonderful Museum of Art, but I would tell you that I think it's the capstone of the state of the arts in North Carolina.
I love the way that each work of art has its own power in this place. It's uplifting, and the heart leaps up, your spirit soars, those sorts of things. But you know what, too, I hope will happen is people will come to our region and come to our state from all over the world to see these beautiful works of art. While they belong to the people of North Carolina, we want to share this experience with people throughout the world.
One highlight is the collection of 30 works by Rodin, whose sculptures can be seen both inside and in an outside courtyard. The museum received $67 million in public money for the new 127,000 square foot building, plus a $6 million commitment for the repair and renovation of the existing building. For more information, visit their website at www.ncartmuseum.org. We'll also have a link on our site at unctv.org/ncnow. A new poll from Elon University says nearly 2 out of 3 state residents support drilling for oil and gas off the North Carolina coast. 63% of respondents support drilling off the coast, while 30% opposed it. 75% of respondents indicated their approval for more funding into the wind, solar, and hydrogen energy technology research. The poll surveyed 607 North Carolina residents and has a margin of error of plus or minus 4.1 percentage points. North Carolina's new smoke-free law for restaurants and bars, which went into effect on January 2nd, has resulted in an 89% improvement in air quality in the state's venues. State Public Health Director Dr. Jeffrey Engel says the results show North Carolinians are reaping the benefits of our smoke-free air law. Dr. Engel says secondhand smoke causes immediate adverse effects on the heart and blood vessels, increasing the risk of heart disease and, over time, lung cancer. President Barack Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama spent their weekend vacation in Asheville. The first couple landed at the Blue Ridge Mountains on Friday afternoon and stayed at the Grove Park Inn. The Obamas spent the weekend exploring some of the trails along the Blue Ridge Parkway. On Sunday, the president made a pilgrimage to Billy Graham's mountainside home. The meeting was the president's first with the evangelist, who has counseled commanders-in-chief since Dwight Eisenhower. A thunderstorm in eastern Wake County morphed into a tornado shortly after 8 o'clock last night, causing a funnel cloud to form near Zebulon. The tornado initially touched down near GlaxoSmithKline in Zebulon and caused minor damage to a McDonald's and other businesses in a local shopping center. The storm moved east-northeast for 3.5 miles before lifting off the ground just east of Route 39 in Franklin County. Now here's a look at tomorrow's weather. Much of the state will see rain and scattered thunderstorms. Temperatures will be a little cooler with highs mainly in the 60s and low 70s. Onslow County ranks first in the nation for personal income growth. The Daily News in Jacksonville reports federal and military data shows the average employee in Onslow County made $39,932 in 2008, with a national average of $40,166. In 1998, workers averaged $21,229 a year. The data concluded income rose in Onslow County after the wars began in Afghanistan and Iraq, followed by the influx of more than 65,000 Marines and sailors still arriving in eastern North Carolina. Now here's a look at what happened on Wall Street today. Student Andrew Schneider recently produced a documentary, My Life with a Learning Disability, as part of a school project. The film has gone on to be an internet sensation and has several teachers asking to use it in their curriculum. Mr. Schneider attends the Fletcher Academy in Raleigh. He and the school's headmaster, Janelle Blaylock, recently joined Mitch Lewis to talk about the project.
Ms. Janelle Blaylock and Andrew Schneider, welcome to North Carolina Now.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Thank you. Andrew, I'll start off with you. Why did you decide to produce My Life with a Learning Disability?
Well, I was in a video editing class, and it seemed like at the time that I really wanted to produce a film and see what was out there. I mean, like, when I created this film, I wanted to do something unique, nothing really out there. And I looked for a video on documentaries pertaining to learning disabilities, and there was nothing. So I thought I would put together maybe a little film.
And in this 7-minute film, what do you see as some of the challenges you face with having, say, a learning disability?
I think the struggle in school and, like, working to, like, get the work you need done, and this, like, basically, sorry.
Oh no, you're doing great. Hey, you're a film producer. I can't even say that. But Ms. Blaylock, of course, you're with the Fletcher Academy, where Andrew was at the time.
Yes.
What was your reaction when you found out that Andrew was doing this production?
Well, actually, I didn't find out about the production until it was done. It was a project for a class, for his video class, and I did not get a chance to view it until it was already on YouTube. And I think that's really the beauty of the film itself, is that it was pretty much untouched by any school officials or authorities or teachers. It really came from the heart, so it has that beautiful simplicity and sincerity.
What was it like going around and putting this piece together?
It was a lot of fun. Like, we did a lot of after school, and I think we did a couple weekends where we took the camera home and got to use the camera, and that was a cool experience because I never really used a video camera before.
And of course, in the piece, you talked about one of your friends, Brandon. How important is he?
He is one of those figures where somebody with learning disabilities, or really anybody, would need, I think, and like somebody you can share interest with, and just a really good friend to be around.
And tell us a little bit about the Fletcher Academy, and what has been the reaction to Andrew's project?
Well, the Fletcher Academy is an independent school, coeducational. It's for grades 1 through 12. It's located in Raleigh, and it serves children with learning disabilities, learning challenges, and attention disorders. So we have 115 students on an average, and the classes are arranged so that there are 5 students per teacher in the language arts and reading and mathematics classes, so that there's a lot of special attention. The reaction to Andrew's video was, I guess we weren't as surprised as some other folks about how popular it became on YouTube, because everywhere you would go in the hallways, you'd see Andrew with a camera and a video camera, and I would step out of my office often into the hallway, right into a line of someone taping something in the hallways. And so there's opportunities for the students there to do things that are really creative, that don't put the emphasis on learning all the time, that they're very creative. And so technology and things like the video opportunities they have are really great opportunities for them to express themselves.
And Andrew, I understand that you've gotten at least 31,000 hits on YouTube. What do you hope that folks watching your project, your film, will take away from it?
I hope they take away from learning and knowing and being able to realize that there are kids out there with struggles, and being able to work with them and make sure they learn. And like some of the things I think with learning disabilities, it demands teaching differently and like learning in different ways, using different strategies.
And of course, talking about teaching strategies, how can schools, since you're with the Fletcher Academy and you're deeply involved with working with folks with learning disabilities, what can folks do to try and perhaps bring a greater awareness to learning disabilities?
Well, I think that it's really important, as Andrew stated so well, that people really understand that there are different ways to teach, there are different strategies, that it all doesn't have to be in the box. And for a lot of these students, they think outside of the box, and that's really a good thing. But I think one of the strengths that we have that help us become more successful with our students is that our classes are very small, so that you have the opportunity to work individually with students and talk to them and have a dialogue about what do you need, how do you learn better, why did you get that concept faster than you did this way, so that we can prescribe their teaching for them and help them be successful.
I've also heard that Andrew's video is also being used as a teaching tool.
Yes. We were very proud of Andrew's YouTube video, and a lot of us in the school community and the school family, of course, had viewed it. But we were really happily surprised to get some inquiries from people all over the world, actually, in South America and Canada and across the United States, from professors and students and special education who wanted permission to use the video as a teaching tool for other students and for people who were going to become teachers themselves.
Andrew, what message would you like to tell people, especially in looking at your film? You were talking about at times how people would treat you, and sometimes you felt lonely because you had a learning disability. What would you want to tell people as to how to treat folks?
I think people should always be treated with respect. In this video, this points out learning differences do make a person look sheltered or something, but you gotta not so much look at them and say, okay, well, they're not feeling well. You really learn about them and try and treat them just as equally as any student, really, I think.
Any plans for further video productions?
Actually, that's what I'm into right now, and what I think I want to go to college for is make documentaries. And I'm working on putting a website together called On Lime Productions. And also, over the summer, I'm going to Guatemala with my mother, and I'm going to try and do, for her nonprofit she started, a documentary on what that's all about.
And you're off to a very good start. Andrew Snyder, producer of My Life with a Learning Disability. Ms. Janelle Blaylock, headmaster of the Fletcher Academy. Thank you so much for stopping by and talking with us, and much success to both of you.
Thank you.
Public education leaders from across the country have long praised Wake County for its efforts to create racially and economically diverse schools. But many parents say that effort has cost them their right to choose what's best for their children. Producer Clay Johnson looks at how the debate could change the complexion of the state's largest school system in this report narrated by WRAL news anchor Gerald Owens.
A school bus picks up Craig and Teresa Fortner's children, Abby and Luke, at 7:45 a.m. The bus drives right past their closest school, Olive Chapel Elementary, a year-round school just 3 miles away. Instead, it takes them to Washington Gifted and Talented Magnet Elementary, nearly 20 miles away in downtown Raleigh's Walnut Terrace neighborhood.
Washington offers a program that caters to a tremendous range of talents.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
While Abby and Luke Fortner come all the way from Apex to downtown Raleigh to school, Keon and Altariq Willis make just the opposite trip, from Walnut Terrace to Olive Chapel Elementary in Apex. The Willis children can't go to Washington Elementary, even though it's 2 short blocks from their apartment.
It's just terrible when I could look out my back door and see a school over there, but then they have to take an hour drive on the bus.
A drive Latasha Willis can't make because she has no car.
I want to participate in activities and everything at school, but I'm not able to because it's so far away.
So do you want me to try flipping it over? Yeah.
But her sons say they like their school.
I like it because I have friends there and my teacher teach me the right stuff.
Keon says his teacher is helping him overcome his struggles with math.
Like when I don't get stuff, she helped me over again and until I get it.
Like most Wake County students, Sarah Gilliland goes to one of the 2 schools closest to her home, Knightdale High School.
I like the school a lot, actually. It's really nice, and people here are nice. We basically all get along.
This guy looks like an ocean.
Knightdale High is almost evenly split among white, black, and Hispanic students.
I was a little worried, and you hear things about schools, you look at numbers, and you don't know necessarily what to think. The interesting thing is, it's really not a rough school. It's a diverse school.
And so are Olive Chapel Elementary and Washington Gifted and Talented Elementary.
A wonderful mix of kids who enjoy being together and don't think anything in the world about being together and being different from each other.
Wake County uses magnet schools and student assignments to promote diversity based on socioeconomic status. The goal is to make sure no more than 40% of students in a school are receiving federally subsidized free or reduced lunches.
When you have a school that's almost entirely made up of low-income minority students, it's hard to enable good achievement.
Educators say low-income students do better in schools with middle and upper-class students, and they say all students benefit from diversity.
We know that the world is a mixed place. It's a diverse atmosphere, and in my mind, how can it not be educational for children to interact with each other who are different?
While they agree with that principle, some parents disagree with the way it's practiced in Wake County.
I'm a proponent of diversity. I support diversity in our communities and our schools. I don't support a student assignment policy, however, that mandates diversity, especially above everything else.
Many parents agree. They formed a grassroots political movement that helped elect a new majority on the Wake County School Board in November. In March, the new majority voted to end busing and student assignments for diversity and instead create community-based assignments, allowing parents to choose schools closer to their home.
Ms. Morrison?
No.
And the chair will vote yes.
As the new board majority moved forward with its agenda, the opposition grew louder. The past is where supporters of the diversity policy say the new board majority is heading back to racially segregated schools.
Resegregated high-poverty schools are discriminatory, they're illegal, and we believe it's wrong.
That's not what we're going to be doing. That's not the plan we're moving towards. A voluntary option into that school year-round assignment.
John Tedesco is leading the new board majority's effort to redesign the school system. He wants to create community-based assignment zones that will allow parents to choose between magnet, year-round, or traditional calendar schools.
Broader geographic areas that allow us to encompass our values for diversity, allow us to better manage our system of growth and planning, allow us to allow choice within a general zone while providing stability and balance for our families.
The NAACP is eyeing a lawsuit saying the new board's policies will violate constitutional protections from racial discrimination and the state constitution's guarantee of a sound basic education for all children.
Your election does not give you the authority to violate the law.
Board supporters say it's too early to pass judgment on a plan that could take more than a year to create.
The footage from that segment came from a documentary Clay produced for WRAL-TV that airs tomorrow night at 7. After the broadcast, you can view the entire documentary at WRAL.com. We'll have a link available on our website at unctv.org/NCNow. Chocolate offers a sweet indulgence that makes many, many people happier. Matthew Shepard makes people around Hillsboro very happy. He's a chocolatier who once left a culinary career only to reemerge years later making bark, truffles, and all things chocolate. Kelly McCullen reports.
Matthew Shepard is one of these guys that has a culinary spirit coursing through his veins. He's a graduate of culinary school who began working in the fine dining industry. But a few things happened to him. First, that new job and career he had wasn't exactly what he had in mind. And second, the daily rigors of preparing so many fine meals literally hurt.
I was having more trouble with my hands when I was working partly on the line. So it was a lot of the heavy pans and the lifting. Wedding cakes kill me, all the little decorating.
Matthew had developed arthritis to complement his dread of going to work.
I think a lot of arthritis, a lot of problems come from stress and self-inflicted. Like, if you hate something, your body's going to do what it needs to do to get you out of a situation.
Matthew left cooking to work in the incense business. He took his cooking skills to his personal kitchen, where he whipped up some treats one winter, a decision that would once again change his career path.
I did chocolates one year for Christmas and for gifts, and things just fell into place.
Matthew Shepard would be a chocolatier.
When a door's open, you jump. You don't jump, the doors don't open anymore. When I opened the door, I had 10 cents in my bank account. And I thought, this is either going to go or it's not.
Matthew had friends in Hillsboro and loved the town's atmosphere, so that's where he'd go. All that stress and the kitchen-induced joint pain, it went.
The chocolate making is it's a little different. It's not as stressful on my hands, and the stress is different. So I think the stress played a lot in my arthritis.
He loves working with dark Belgian chocolate and hoped that would not place him at odds with local customers who hold a sweeter tooth than dark Belgian can satisfy.
When I opened the shop, I thought it was going to be a fight because I do mostly dark chocolate. And I thought everybody was going to want milk. And it really turns out that people are really liking the darker chocolate.
Chocolate tasting can be much like a wine tasting. You can make it as simple or as complex as you'd like.
This is 80% dark chocolate, where if you get most dark chocolate is very bitter and chalky and it's not very enjoyable. This is going to be dark, but you'll see it's got a lot of fruity notes. Just pop it in. You want to get it all melty.
It should be crunchy at first?
Yeah, that's the tempering. That's the hard snap.
And it's okay that it melts immediately?
You want it to.
If you wanted to.
No, you do want it to. You get candy bars at the stores, and you'll chew on them for 5 minutes before they start melting.
Not good.
That's not chocolate.
Do you want to eat a piece of chocolate like this, a fine piece of chocolate, just eat it, or do you put it in your mouth and let it melt away?
I prefer to let it melt. If I'm eating a solid piece of chocolate, I like to let it melt. Breathe out of your nose while you roll it around, and you start to pick up a lot more different, sometimes you get some smoky hints. Sometimes it's fruity, sometimes it's more vanilla.
Is it too simple to put a piece of your chocolate, eat it in our mouth, let it dissolve, and just go, wow, I like that. I don't know why, I just do?
Never too simple.
Not too simple.
No,
that's the basis of it all.
As long as you like it, for whatever reason why you like it, it's an indulgence. And a lot of people don't pick up all the little notes or the things, but they still enjoy it for what it is.
So it's possible to grab a piece of chocolate, whether it's fancy or not, kick back and relax without pretension. Matthew says for his products, he'll do the thinking and crafting for you to make sure that one of his chocolate pieces is as much an experience as a snack.
I probably make 70 or 80 different chocolates right now.
And where do you stop? 100? Or do you just keep
You
going?
don't. You just, some fall away and new ones come in. Sometimes I sit with the books and I just look through them and go, oh, I haven't made that one in a while. Or
so you get bored?
I get bored. Yeah, that's why the chocolates change every week. The bark stays the same, dipped fruit stays the same, but the truffles and the creams I keep changing up.
But a chocolate-covered strawberry will be in style 1,000 years from now.
Only in season.
Matthew's Chocolates is open in downtown Hillsboro Tuesday through Sunday. That's our show for tonight. Thanks for watching. Have a great evening, everyone.
North Carolina Now is made possible through the financial contributions of viewers like you who invite you to join them in supporting UNC-TV. Podcasts on UNCTV.org are made possible through the financial contributions of viewers like you who invite you to join them in supporting UNC-TV.